What is going on, everybody? Welcome to another back of Weekly Dose of Dano TV right here. I just want to thank everybody for tuning in today. If you're watching live, if you're watching on the replay, just leave a little comment. Say hashtag replay, hashtag live, just so I know that the energy is flowing, that you guys are rocking it, and we're all in the building right now. We're all present in this moment. So today, I just want to let you guys know we have Rhonda L. Thompson. Let me tell you guys, when she sent me her bio, this thing was super, super long. And I was very appreciative of that, only because when you see something like that, you guys better recognize that we have such a great authority when it comes to a lot of topics. You know, she's a very well-rounded and awesome woman. Like, if you guys didn't check out the episode on her television show, she also has one on the E16 television network. It's called Rhonda's Room. And we actually did an episode on there. So go check out her page. She's a very, very incredible woman. And I'm so glad that she's coming on the show today. So I just want to say thank you, Rhonda, for spending an hour of your time with all of us together. Because here in our community, we have a community of people that come together to be a part of greater than something than themselves. And this is where the positive energy starts to flow, so that when we go about our weekend, it's the best time to do it. Thursday at 6, when we go about our weekend, we can just transform that positive energy into everybody else that we meet throughout the weekend. And the weekend is also a fun time. So what other way would you want to spend it rather than here in Weekly Dose of Dano TV? So Rhonda, thank you so much for that. And before I bring Rhonda onto the show, you guys already know what we have to do. I always start off with this book. And if there's anybody new watching right now, this book is called 511, Life's Little Instruction Book, 511 Suggestions, Observations, and Reminders on How to Live a Happy and Rewarding Life. All right, cool, focus, nice. So, this is actually acting up a little bit. I wonder why it's like that. Whatever. So, the reason why I always start off with this book, the history behind this book is actually really great, but while you guys are watching all the promo videos and the show openers and the sponsorship videos, I always flip to it just to show everybody, like, there's always something in here that pertains either to the guest or somebody may need to watch. You know, they might need to hear the piece of information that is inside of this book, and it's always spot on every time. So this is what we're going to do. I flipped it open today, and we're going to look at number 286. Practice empathy. Try to see things from other people's points of view. And read that again. 286 is practice empathy. Try to see things from other people's point of view. And this one is especially, I don't know why that's acting like that. Why are you not cooperating with me today? Oh, well, whatever. You guys know it's a green screen. I'm obviously not in the middle of space anyway. So the reason why, there's so many reasons why you should try to see things from other people's perspective. I really do believe that it's probably the biggest issue when dealing, or I'm not going to say we're dealing with other people with a different perspective, but trying to understand where they're coming from. Because a lot of people, you know, and this is all in my opinion, they're so deeply ingrained in what they believe in, and they never want to change what they're comfortable with. Because when you take somebody outside of their comfort zone and they're in that unfamiliar territory, then they're not going to want to stay there very long. So it's very important to see things from other people's point of view. I would say the top reason being you can always learn something that you don't already know about. If you think that you're an expert on everything and you really haven't even read more than 5 articles on the subject, how could you go out there and speak on something that you don't even know about? And there might be like a literal expert that studies this stuff all the time, and they're trying to share their information with you, and you just don't want to listen. That is the quickest way to get into an argument. And I just feel like, especially, we don't talk about politics on here because, that's a very slippery slope. But, that's a big thing that people are always, going at it, and they never want to see each other's perspective about the certain situation. So you can always learn something from somebody else's perspective. And number 2, you can start to see where people are coming from. So you can start to understand and maybe counter their point, or you can understand and say, listen, this is maybe why I agree with you, or this may be why I think your logic is flawed. So there's so many. And Rhonda, if you want to come in and talk about that, because I know you could talk about that forever. But that's that's the tip for today. Try to always understand the other person's side point of view. And yeah, so that's what we have for today. And Rhonda is, man, I'm telling you guys are going to be so amazed, and I'm just so happy that you're coming on the show. Rhonda, what are you doing, girl? It's time to get on the show. Rhonda.
Hey, Dano, how are you? Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here. And man, I was like chomping at the bit when you were talking. I was like, I want to say something. I want to say something to what you were saying. Yeah, that's right on point. But I'm so happy to be here tonight with you as your guest. Thank you so much.
Oh, no problem. Thank you for having me on your show the other day. And that was awesome. Like, I know a lot of people, leading up to this, they messaged me and they said, man, this is just going to be a continuation of that vibrant, great, positive energy. So I'm ready to give that to the people.
Yes. That's what we do, man. It's that good energy. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, yeah, 100%. So, Rhonda, is there anything that you wanted to add about that point of seeing the other person's perspective?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. That's actually one of my key things that I teach in my classes is other people's perspectives, because you know, I'm a certified anger management specialist and I do family violence. So everybody who gets to my classes are there as a result of some type of disagreement or altercation or something. Hey, Fiona, that's my girl from London. So you got London checking in, Dano. Hey. But with my classes, it's so hard for people to realize that another person's opinion doesn't matter. That's like the simplest thing. But why do you get so upset? It doesn't matter. They're allowed to have their own perspective. They're allowed to not agree with you. They're allowed to think something is red when you say it's blue, because here's the thing. Okay, like I'm going to show you just a real quick thing. All right, what do you see right now?
I see we're live. That's what I see.
What am I holding up? What am I holding up?
A phone.
Right. What do you see? Describe what you see on the phone.
I see a white background with our faces on there.
Okay. So, and you're absolutely right. And you know what? You're absolutely wrong too, because that's not what I see. You want to know what I see?
I want to know what you see. Let us know.
I see a whole bunch of butterflies. So we're both right and we're both wrong. And the thing is the phone didn't change. It was just the direction that we're looking at it changed. So wow. There goes the perspective, because two people are always right and they're always wrong. It just depends on the frame of reference they're coming from. See, where I was looking at butterflies, you were looking at the other side of the phone. Mm-hmm. And, you know, when people get into their ways they were brought up, their backgrounds, their morals, their values, they're totally right in their family scheme and in their family origination. But then mix it with somebody else who's been brought up somewhere else with another set of parents, and they're totally right. And then when you clash, you're both right, you're both wrong. You just got to make room to see the other person's view. And then, you know, it's not such a big deal after all. It's like, why get upset?
Wow, I absolutely love that. You kind of just blew my mind right there. When, you know what I mean? I swore, I was like, okay, I can't wait to see what you tell me what you see, and then you flip it. There's something completely
butterflies. Yeah. I see butterflies.
Yeah, no, that is such a great example, and you know, you can really apply that to every area of your life. You know, yeah. You only know what you know. You don't know what you don't know. So when other people start to explain their perspectives, you can start to gain everybody's perspectives, and then you can make your own opinion based on that information. So thank you so much for that example. That was so great. Now, Rhonda, when we talk to each other, I'm gonna tell you straight up, I feel just great energy from the both ends of the program.
Likewise.
Were you always that way from the beginning?
No, I was I actually very opposite. For a very long time, I was very quiet. I actually something happened in my life where I actually forfeited my voice, and I was always sad, and I was always down, and I was always crying, and I was always insecure. And yeah, so no, this is the new improved version. Okay, this is not how we start. No, this is how we started, but then some stuff happened in the middle, lost ourselves, and this is getting it back together. And this is the woman that's got all her stuff together now.
I love that. And I'm the type of person, and I believe this is the type of community of people that love to get the know-how and the exact recipe or the exact strategies, you know, that to get to where you are today. So is there any type of ideas or strategies that somebody can do like right at this moment in order to shift and go, make their life in the positive direction?
I mean, it's not as deep as people make it. Make a decision. Just make a decision. And from one decision starts another thing. Lauren gives us that great example. Remember the Michael Jackson, the video where Billie Jean, where he's taking a step and then the next ones light up and stuff. When you take one step, the rest of the path is shown for you. Make a decision. Number one, that if here's the thing, if you don't like your actions right now, or if you don't like your life right now, all right, a lot of times people think it comes from your thoughts. It doesn't come from your thoughts. It's deeper than that. Your beliefs create your thoughts create your feelings create your actions. So if you don't like your actions, the thought is cool. You can say all this stuff and everything, but until you change your belief system, which is here and here, you're never going to change your action. So, part of getting to that positivity is realizing that, hey, what you've learned and what you were brought up with, what is your core belief system, it may not be correct, or it may not serve you anymore. And it usually belongs to somebody else anyway. And at any moment, you can rewrite your story. You can edit, modify, rewrite, delete, turn the page and start, where is it written that this is it for you? It's not. Just make a decision, turn the page and keep going. That's it, really.
I love that. So, and you're such an authority because you have a lot of schooling, you have a lot of life experience, and a lot of practice in the real world when it comes to teaching these people about changing their life in the positive direction. Excuse me, I'm about to sneeze right now. I guess that's
okay.
Of course, it's not going to come out.
That's okay.
Of course, now that I say it. So now, as far as rewriting a story, right? I know I can tell you, like, I'm not the same person that I was 6 months ago. Is there any type of book material? Is there any type of music or anything that you recommend somebody to listen to change their life?
Yeah. What I do, music is key for me. I'm a music person. Music moves me. And if you find what moves you, everybody has different things. I'm a writer by nature. I write my feelings out. Music makes me feel good. Going outside makes me feel good. Purposely choosing books that will pour into you. Okay, you're a techie guy too, like me. All right, I'm computers, you're younger tech, but hey, let's go back to basics. Garbage in, garbage out. What you feed yourself in is what you're going to spit out. So if you are the type of person that you're living by reality shows and all this crap that is not real anyway on TV, and you're constantly feeding yourself that, what you surround yourself with, or whom you surround yourself with, you become. So if you're negative, the first thing is take a look at your 5 or 10 closest people. Are they negative? Because if they are, 9 times out of 10, they're rubbing off on you. And if you don't like it, then you need to, change your group and, get a different surrounding. And if you can't get the support from the outside, from the people, then you got to pour it into you on the inside. So I watch motivational videos, books that just, the title just jumps out at me. It's like, buy me, buy me, buy me, when I'm, and the title will just jump out and I'm like, oh, let me get that and see what's inside of there. So the thing is you have to be intentional about what you want to do. So like if you're a negative person and you would like to be a joyous person, but you don't know how, well, I've got a great book that I use. It's a workbook. It's called How to Fight Back with Joy. So whatever the opposite is of where you are now and if you don't know anybody to talk about, then you get books and you get things on that topic and you start feeding yourself that, because just like a new language, the more you feed yourself, the more you learn it, the more it's going to become a part of you. And before you know it, it's going to be second nature. So you can literally choose who you want to be and who you want to create at any moment.
Yeah, I love that so much. And I agree with you 100% because I always say, well, I don't know if you checked out like a past episode, but everything that you said about the beliefs turns into thoughts turns into actions.
Oh, wow.
We talk about that before too. So I was like, yeah, like, okay, like we're on the same page with that.
It's that energy again. It's that energy again.
Seriously. And another thing too, I feel like whatever you see, whatever you watch and whatever you listen to, it goes straight to your heart. So if you're listening to music that talks about, negative things, I was going to give you some examples, but I don't want to do all that. So if you listen to this, that type of stuff, that it goes straight to your heart, and that's what you start to feel, and that's what you start to become. So when I was reading your bio, I just love talking about it because it's so great. When I was reading your bio, you said that you're an authority with healing and trauma and just with the whole I can't speak, the whole aspect of healing. What makes you so passionate about doing all the schooling that you did and taking every day and helping people out? Why are you so passionate about helping other people heal?
Because when I was going through everything, Dano, there was nobody there for me to talk to. There was nobody there for me to reach out to. I went through it all alone. And, I've learned now that I'm older and now that I'm, more experienced on the other side, I wish I would have had somebody that I could have talked to. I wish I would have had somebody that went through the same things that I went through. So I know now all the things I've been through, and it's a lot. Is a lot, but all those things I've been through has a purpose. It has a meaning, because the things you come through is not for you anyway. It's to go back and pull somebody else out, because you now have the blueprint for them. And even though you may not feel strong, you're stronger than you realize. You're braver than you think, and you have the missing key that another person doesn't have. So you get the opportunity to go back and help them through and be the person for them that you need it for you. And then that's how, you continue to pay it forward, and you continue to grow, and you create a movement. But yeah, I'm a trauma specialist because I've been through so much trauma, real life experience. It's not book knowledge. I've got the literal experience first, and then I got the book knowledge second. Because I wanted to be able to not just say, hey, this is what I've been through. I wanted to have the credentials behind me too, because we know society judges on credentials. Okay. And some people will not accept what you say until they see, okay, well, what degree do you have? Do you have this, 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 this? And that's checking off their list so that, they feel you're qualified. And it's not a matter of people pleasing. It's just a matter of doing whatever you need to reach the people that you're assigned to. And so I know there's a lot of people in my field that, hey, they're credential readers, and they're not going to listen unless I've got the credentials to back me up, because the people that I speak to could be somebody from the street that's homeless, or it could be a corporate, billionaire running a company. So I need to have that language. I need to be able to adapt to all of them.
Yeah, I love that. And even if somebody were to try to come at you, you could say, boom, 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 this is all checked off. Now, would you recommend, this is a big topic just because I know when I was going to school, I really hated it. Do you find that school is of necessary importance in today's age?
No, absolutely not. School for me, is where I got my answers, because I couldn't get any answers. And most people that are in the psychology field, they get into it because they're trying to figure out all their own shit. Okay. And it's like, they don't know. And it's like, you don't got nobody to talk to. So you okay, well, let me go to school and let me figure this out. And then you start reading the books, and you're like, oh my God, that's why I do this. This is why I do that. So I actually got into it trying to figure out my own stuff. And, my favorite classes were psychology. So I came true to myself. I came back to what really touched me in my heart. And I enjoy learning, but not everybody does. Everybody does it differently. But I'm a student by nature. I love to do that. And I love to mix the experience with this and be able to have a conversation with anybody.
Yeah. What would you say the biggest lessons while you were in school? What were the biggest lessons that you learned? Even it doesn't have to be strictly psychology either. It can just be stuff that you learned about yourself through the journey.
That for me, when I went back to school, see, I already had my kids. I was like 40, okay, when I went back to school. And the biggest thing for me was, the hardest thing to adjust to was my age in the group. And I felt like I wasted time, that maybe I should have gone sooner. And so I put myself through unnecessary stress, thinking that I missed it or I didn't. But then once I accepted that, you know what, I'm exactly where I need to be at the exact time, and it couldn't have been any other time than this. So I'm not behind. I'm right on schedule. And when I stopped comparing myself to what society thought and started, not worrying about, well, hey, do you realize you're the oldest person in the class? Okay, and so, and then I my biggest lesson was having to accept me in my present state and not compare myself, because I compared myself to people my whole life.
Yeah. And what are some of the strategies that you practice that you can start to accept yourself and accept that you're exactly where you need to be?
Well, that's a daily thing. That truly is, because it's a daily choice of, number one, learning to be kind to yourself, learning to, because just like, when we're kids, what's the first word you learn? You learn no. That's the first thing your parents teach you. You go to reach out, they're like, no, don't do that. No, don't. You hear no first.
Mm-hmm.
That's the first thing you hear is no. No, 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 no. That's encoded in your brain. So for us to say, yes, I can do this, it's unnatural, because we're so used to saying, oh, I want to do that, but you know what? Maybe I'm a little too old, or, oh, I want to do this, but I'm just not the right size, or yeah, I really want to ask that. I really like that guy, but I'm not his type. And you talk yourself out of stuff because you're so used to the word no. So learning how to say yes to yourself, yes to you, is the biggest strategy, is finding what you are beautiful in and finding what you excel in and what your gifts are, and recognizing that, because you have to speak to you before anybody else will.
Mm-hmm.
So if you can't look in the mirror and cheer yourself on, and you're waiting for somebody else to do it, nobody else is responsible for your happiness and your fulfillment. That's got to come from here.
Yeah.
And you got to do it yourself. So you got to learn to look at yourself naked, rolls and bumps and cellulite it all, like, damn, you fine. Damn, you fine, girl. And talk to yourself like that. And like, yes, I love, look at this. And you shake it. And okay, I might need to tone it up, but I love you. I love, and that's the hardest thing to say. And that was the hardest thing for me to say, was I love you, Rhonda. That was the hardest thing to learn.
Mm-hmm. Now,
yeah.
Go ahead, continue.
No. I was gonna say, and to just say to, and to just realize that I was enough, and I didn't need to measure up to anybody anymore. That's the hardest battle of all.
Mm-hmm. I agree 100%. And do you think that people, like, they start out, if everything goes well, like with inside the home, because I know like some people have it rough from the start, but do you think that it's the outside world that makes everybody start to second guess themselves and maybe start to lose a little bit of self-love?
Okay, you know what you're describing right now? You're describing the classic debate, nature versus nurture. You are describing, because yes and no.
Mm-hmm.
And here's what I say, why I say that, because it has been proven. You could take two children, you could have one in one home and one environment, and you could have one in another environment that's got everything and one is lacking. And where do the two children end up? Which one is successful? Is it because of the surroundings, or is it because of what the parents said to them? Because even if you have all the surroundings, and this is what a lot of my clients are, they've got the millions, they've got the success, they've got the cars, they've got the houses, and they're miserable. They're miserable. And I've got the kids of those parents who are the addicts. They are the people that have killed people. They're the people that have tortured people, because they're in torment themselves. Because one thing with kids, and this was a quote that it's one of my own, that God let me, he gave this to me, is, and this changed the way I saw a lot of things. And it's this: kids don't need or want your presence, presents.
Yeah.
Kids want and need your presence, prescence.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. I don't care how much money you have. I don't care how much you don't have. What kids want and need is this right here, is connection. We're built for connection. So even if you've got the greatest successful person on the outside, if they don't connect with their child, that child is going to have a sense of abandonment. That child is going to have a sense of doing anything they can for that parent's approval. Or if you've got like somebody in the lowest class of house, but then they're family oriented, they're a close-knit family, and people be like, why are you so happy? You don't have anything.
Yeah.
We have love, we have acceptance, I feel safe. That's everything.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it can contribute, but it's not the do-all be-all.
Yeah. Wow, I agree with that 100% because everything that you just described is kind of what I went through. Like, not growing up in the most the neighborhood with the most money, or wasn't the safest, but me and my family were just so tightly knit together that we can get through anything. And I'm just so happy now because I see what other people go through, and knowing that I didn't have the most, but I had family. Family was everything for me too. And some people don't have that luxury, so that's why I'm just so appreciative and thankful for everything that I went through for my family. And they're actually watching right now, so shout out to you guys as well. So we're actually at the middle of the hour, 6:30. It's been going by so quick, right?
Wow. Okay.
So we have to get a word in from our sponsors. Thank you to our sponsors. But Rhonda, when you come back, I want to talk to you about your Total Breakthrough Center, how you got started with all of that, and where you got the idea from. So that's going to be the topic when we come back. And everybody, don't go anywhere. Here's just a quick word from our sponsors, and we will see you in a few seconds.
There's a world inside my head. I get lost in it from time to time. No one has a spare key, only one is inside of me.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. We have Rhonda L. Thompson in the building, and Rhonda is dropping some golden nuggets on us today. So I hope you guys have your pen and your paper, and we're going to keep it going. We're going to keep it going.
All right, come on.
So, Rhonda, I want you to talk about your Total Breakthrough Center. Where did you get the idea from, and what exactly is it that you do in this Total Breakthrough Center?
Okay, awesome. Total Breakthrough Center is my company that I founded, and what I envisioned. Now I have a business partner, Shamika Love, and she's kind of like a behind the scenes person. But the vision of Total Breakthrough Center is to have one location where you don't have to outsource, that you can have a total breakthrough in every single area of your life. So that's another reason why I have as many certifications as I do. Now, when I get to things that I can't handle, of course, you know, source out and stuff like that. By no means do I think I can handle everything. I can't. But I saw that, you know, a lot of counseling places and companies, they outsource for every little thing when you could be doing a lot of it, you know, in one place. And when somebody opens up to you, it takes time to build that trust. And so if you know, have a client that they've got to go to other places as well, it's going to take them more time to build up that trust again. So I was trying to create a place that I could give more resources than normal. And that way I can keep the client a little bit longer. And because that trust is something that I value, because sometimes, you know, I hear this all the time, Rhonda, I've never told anybody this before. And, you know, and then, okay, well, hey, hey, this is as far as we can go. I need you to go here now. Then they shut down and they got to start all over again. So that was the vision of it. And it's growing by leaps and bounds, which is incredible. But Breakthrough, the name Breakthrough is because, you know, I learned a long time ago, I heard a pastor say this, and I kind of snatched it from him. He said, you could have a breakup, a breakdown, or a breakthrough. It's all up to you. And I was like, I love that. So, and that's the truth. You can break down in a situation, you can have a breakup, or you can have a breakthrough. And, you know, a lot of things we come in contact with, we're faced right there. And my sister gives an example a lot of times of something, you know, how you feel like you're in front of a brick wall. And she's been saying to me lately, Rhonda, she's like, you've been doing so much work on yourself. She said that brick wall is like a thin sheet of paper right now. You're almost there. You're right on the cusp. You're just about to break through. And so like a breakthrough is also, it's a journey, because it takes some work. It takes some commitment. You're not just going to boom, hit it the first time. You're going to have to, you know, like seriously strategize. How do I break through this? And you got to commit to doing the work.
Yeah, I agree 100%. That is just something that, like, I want you to talk about what you were thinking when you first got the idea. Were you like, how am I going to receive the funds to do this? What were some of the steps or some of the challenges that you had to go through when starting this all up?
Okay. Well, the way that this came about is me and Shamika, we were talking and we had the concept. We knew we wanted to do a business together. She was the money person. I didn't have the money. So she was the one that gave me the money that I needed to get the classes and to get the trainings that I needed to get all the certifications. And we had the concept of, I just had this name in my mind, Breakthrough Center, Breakthrough Center, Breakthrough Center. And then when I was speaking with Shamika, she, you know, I was telling her the vision, we started talking about it. Then it evolved to Total Breakthrough Center. We're like, that's it. I'm like, Breakthrough Center is great, but that just sounds so, I don't know. And I had done a search for it. But then when we put Total in front of it and we looked at it all kind of ways, we're like, yeah, TBC, we got the initials, you know, and like, well, everyone's going to think we're the religious station, but that's okay. We're going to define ourselves. And so the money, I was blessed to have a partner, and we combined our gifts and our talents. So where I'm the dreamer, she is the stay in your lane type person, where I am like, hey, I want to do this. I want to do this. I want to do this. And she's like, okay, Rhonda, bring it in. And here's what we do. What does that look like on paper? So everybody needs a Shamika in their life, because she grounds me, and it just works beautifully. And we stay in each other's lanes. We let each other operate in our gifts, and I don't try to cross into hers, and she doesn't come into mine, and it works out beautifully.
I love that. And, you know, I feel like God sends certain people in your life, either one, so you can get a lesson from them, whether it's a good or bad one, and then two, to build, you know, things that you wouldn't be able to do on your own. So congratulations to you. And you said Shamika, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, congratulations to you two both. I mean, that's something that I already can tell that you guys are going to do. That's going to be something very huge in this world. And you guys are helping out so many people too, and giving them an outlet, you know, and that's more than what you can ask for. from anybody, you know. So congratulations to you for that. Now, obviously, the Total Breakthrough Center, that's not the only thing that you do. You also have your own radio show, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a radio talk show host. I'm the executive producer and host of Rhonda's Room on Power 108.9 in Atlanta. And that's where the whole concept of Rhonda's Room came out, was because of the radio station at Power 108.9 with Michael McFadden. And we create our own show and have our guests, and we're responsible for it. He runs the boards and everything, but the whole concept of everything is ours.
I love that. Now, did you ever envision yourself having all of these things when you were in your deepest, darkest points in your life?
I was a DJ before, back in the day, and I love music, like I said. So when I was a teenager and I was in Philadelphia, I was a DJ, and I've always loved music. I've always loved DJs. I've always loved that whole radio vibe, and I remember I fell in love with it first. In Philadelphia, because back then, I mean, the station was Power 99.9 FM. And I remember DJ Hollywood, Red Alert, and DJ Cowboy. And I would listen to them all the time. And they just had this personality, and it was more than the music. It was, they drew you in, you know, and I was like, man, that's so cool. And so that the seed was planted there. And then when I saw this opportunity, I went back to, I was like, yeah, I want to do that. I want to use this as a platform, because that's how I could let people know what I'm doing with the counseling. I could have amazing guests, and then they can, you know, get to know me, and how do I introduce myself to everybody? Because I'm out here in Atlanta, it's huge. And I was like, this is a way I could introduce myself and people could get to know me. And September 11th this year will be 2 years. So I'll be celebrating my 2nd anniversary on the radio show.
Congratulations. Now, what are some of the biggest lessons that you've learned from radio that you apply in your daily life?
One of the biggest lessons is don't ever think everything is going to go right, because it's not. It's not going to go right. It is gonna, when you think you are the most prepared, that's when everything is not going to work, and you're just going to have to do it. You got to figure out a way to keep it moving, because it's live, and you can't be like, okay, wait, we'll be right. You can say we'll be right back, but when you come right back, you better have that thing figured out. You know, so
Yeah.
but the biggest lesson is learning how to open up and to find your voice and to find your personality on the show, because something changes. It's like you transform, and you got to bring life to that radio. Now, our radio station is a video just like this, and it's an audio, but I envisioned back in the day, like where you couldn't see anything and you would listen, and I wanted to create an experience. So, you know, and that's the whole thing. So from the time my guest comes in, it's an experience. It's not like, hey, I need you here for my ratings. I've never put people above, I've never put profit above people. So it's like, I don't care how many ratings you got. I don't care if nobody knows who you are. If I like your story, you're going to be on the show. So I don't care if you got 10,000, you know, likes and viewers and millions. It doesn't matter, because your story is the one that needs to be heard. Mm-hmm. You know, because nobody knows what you're the diamond in the rough. So I bring a lot of people that nobody has ever heard of before, and they're like, wow, where did this person come from? And then once they're on the show, all of a sudden you start seeing them everywhere. And I always be like, remember, you saw them here first. You know, you saw them here first. Not that I claim anything for their success. That's all their talent. But I have an eye for picking out a diamond in the rough.
I love that. And when, especially, I don't know how you do it, because I feel like with radio, it's a little bit harder, because you kind of have to watch what you say. Is that like that for you, or no? It's just completely.
No, my show is Rhonda's Room, and the taglines are: there's no filters, there's no rules, and no topic is off limits. I'm Italian. I cuss up a storm. My guests will cuss, but then of course, if I've got a very church-going person, I will act accordingly. Yeah. But one of the greatest things is that you are free to be who you are. I'm going to meet you right where you're at. So I don't care if you have no education or if you're like a freaking Ivy League person. I will adjust to who I have, and I will speak the same way that they speak, and I will mirror them. And I provide a safe place. And that's why everybody will get on the radio and they're nervous at first, and they're like, they forget, they'll be like, oh my God, I forgot we were on the show. And then they just like cut their heart open and just and open. And everybody says, Rhonda, I've never told anybody this before. And they're revealing stuff that they've never told anybody. And they've got hundreds of people, thousands of people watching them, and they totally forgot about the audience. So that's how I know there's something magical in Rhonda's room.
Yeah, and I love that, because when you're able to get that comfortability with somebody that it takes years to do in a matter of 20 minutes, that's how you know that you have that pure spirit and you have that safe haven for people to come to. And I believe that's why you're doing everything that you're doing with the Total Breakthrough Center, and even the media that you do with the Rhonda's Room and the Rhonda's Radio, or the radio as well. You're also an author, correct?
Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit about your book?
Sure. I wrote it. The name of the book is Victory Over Defeat Every Time. And then the subtitle is Everyone is Worth Keeping. And I wrote the book when I lost all my kids to foster care. Mm-hmm. And they were taken from me. And I have 5 kids. I have 10 grandkids, biological grandchildren. And there's 9 living. That's a whole nother story. But at the time, my oldest daughter was in jail, and I had custody of her 3 kids. So I had all the kids. I had my 5, well, my 4, and her 3. So I had the 7 of them. This was before the other grandkids came. And the day before she got out of jail, somebody called and reported me to DFACS, because I had moved into my pastor's house. As a matter of fact, he was renting a house, and I didn't have the utilities hooked up yet. So I was going back and forth between my ex-husband, because we were divorced at the time, driving to East Point to give the kids a bath, bring them back to Cobb County where we live so they can go to school. Well, somebody, some kind of way, found out we didn't have any utilities on at that time. I didn't have the hot water on. I didn't have anything, because I was in transition waiting for it to be hooked up. Mm-hmm. And in that time, somebody called DFACS, and they surrounded my house. They took all the kids, and they said, oh, well, we don't know what to tell you. We just got these orders to take the kids. It was a very violent takeover. They literally ripped the kids out of my hands. They were macing my sons. I got babies in my arms, and they're literally ripping them out of my arms. And they said, well, don't worry. We'll handle this in the morning. 24 hours turned into the weekend, which turned into in a week, which turned into 30 days, 90 days. It took me 14 months to get them back out of foster care. And it was the day before my daughter got out of jail. So not only did I lose my children, I lost her children that she entrusted me to. So all of that, going through all of that, I didn't have anybody to talk to. Mm-hmm. I just started writing. And the way I wrote my book is, like, everyone asks, hey, did you outline? No, I literally started writing it until I finished. And I read it when I was done. I wrote what I was feeling. I wrote what I heard. I wrote every argument, every F this, F you, God, that it's in that book, because I was hurting and I was purging. And it was a catharsis for me, because I got everything out, and I never intended to publish it, but I wanted to keep a record, because there were so many lies going on. I was like, I want my kids to know the truth. That's why I wrote the book. And I gave each one of my kids a copy. And, we ended up doing some book signings and stuff, but that was never supposed to be out there. That was a personal project. And now I'm revising that now. And I'm doing a new version of it, because a lot of signature messages that I speak on now were birthed in that book. And I didn't know what I was writing. And that is like incredible to go back now and look. And so I'm in the process of revamping that and creating a whole curriculum. And yeah, there's a whole lot more to that.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, so we have Sebastian. What a strong woman. God bless the breakthrough. And I agree with that 100%. Just for you to be able to go through something like that and come out on top and try to spin a positive, spinning a positive on it, it really takes a strong person to do that. So it's just really a testament to your character. would you recommend journaling or writing things down to people that are going through some of the darkest
Oh,
moments?
it's a must. It is a must. You have got to, here's the thing I've learned, and here's the thing that I teach, okay? Picture the garbage, okay?
Okay.
So, okay, Dano, you got a dumpster, right? You take it, do you live in an apartment or do you live in a house?
I live in a
how do
house.
you get rid of your trash?
I live in a house and I just take it out
Okay.
every week to the front.
Okay, so you got a certain day of the week for the trash, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now, have you ever missed the trash 1 week?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what happens on the second week when you take those same bags that were there a week before?
Oh, they're gross. They're very smelly.
Yeah, exactly. They're gross. They stink. They're liquefied. They got maggots. They got all this other crap. And don't mess around and miss it twice. And it's 3 weeks before, because it's disintegrating and it smells and it's all of this. And I'm saying all of that because of this. As we go through life, as those trials come to us, as those hurts come to us, that's another layer of garbage. Okay. And what we normally do is we are not accustomed to talking it out or working it through. And you know what we do, Dano? We push it down.
Mm-hmm.
We push it down.
Mm-hmm.
We push it down. And then that's how you get years and years and years and years of garbage that's packed in here. But here's the thing. Whatever you suppress, what you constantly suppress, I promise you, you will express it, and you will do it in an unhealthy way every time, because you can only push it down so far before it spills over. And when you do express it, it's going to come out one of two ways. You're going to explode, hurt everybody in your pathway,
Mm-hmm.
or you're going to implode and you're going to hurt yourself.
Mm-hmm.
But so you have to get it out, whether it, and by any means necessary. I don't care if you're a rapper, if you're a singer, if you're a spoken word, if you're a performing artist, if you're a dancer, if you're a lyricist, if you're an athlete, if you're a boxer, if you're a writer, you got to get it out
Mm-hmm.
some kind of way, and you got to find your voice, and writing is a great way. And if you're going to write, don't think about it. Just get the pen and just start writing. Don't filter it. Don't censor it, and read it when you're done, and write until you can't write anymore. And that's when you will see it's going to unfold right in front of you. And you're going to read it afterwards. You're going to be like, oh my God. And it's going to give you a sense of relief, and it's going to give you a sense of purpose and a sense of direction. But writing is essential for me. But everybody has that thing for them. You just got to find that thing, whether it's writing, spoken word, whatever it is. You got to get it out some kind of way.
Okay, so I know for me, meditation is kind of very essential for me, like writing is to
Okay.
me. So if there's no, I mean, I can only imagine with writing, you're taking it from your brain and you're putting it onto the piece of paper. So you're clearing that for the positive thoughts and the positive opportunities to come to you. So, okay, I can tell you, like, I'm really not a writer at all. So
Okay.
for somebody out there watching this, is there an alternate form of releasing all of that or processing all of those emotions that you would recommend?
Sure. I mean, you could exercise, you can run, you get that release when you run, just whatever it is to get it out, whether you're a creative or if you're not a creative, it doesn't matter. Whatever release you need. If it's not writing, okay, for you, it's meditating. Okay. I have a hard time sitting still and meditating because my mind is going 1,000 miles a minute. I'm like, okay. I'm like, okay. I'm just like, I can't. But if that worked and you're a meditator. My sister, she is a massage therapist. She's a Reiki master. She is an energy person. She is a breather. And she's always like, Rhonda, breathe. Rhonda, breathe. I have to remember to breathe. So whatever works for you, that's what you do. And wherever you get your release and your sense of calm from, that's what you do. And it's going to be different for everybody.
Yeah, I love that. And that's exactly the point that I wanted to make too. Like what works for me doesn't work for you, doesn't work for the person watching. So if everybody has like some sort of idea as to what we can do, like you said, exercise, meditation, writing. There's other people that like to go take a walk in the park, whatever it may be. when people can understand and they can start to learn different ways of processing those emotions, and they
Mhm.
take that first step, they're going to fall in love with it, and they're going to make, it's just going to make the world that much of a better place. And I thank you for sharing your information, just because you are an authority when it comes to speaking about things like this. So I really do appreciate it. And there's also an international women's summit that you host, correct?
Yeah, we did that in March. I had women from several different countries. Fiona was one of them. And me and Fiona, that was our baby. That was our idea, because it was actually Fiona wanted to do something, and we created the summit on my show, where we had Sophie from Australia. We had Edlin she represented India. Ilona represented Georgia, Republic of Georgia. Sadir represented Muslim. Fiona was London, and me. We had Bella Cruz, and she was Texas. So we had people that spoke 11 different languages from 9 different countries, and we celebrated women. And what we shared in common is that we're all women. We all hurt. We all go through the same thing, no matter what our country is, no matter what our religious belief was, no matter who we worship, didn't matter. What we have in common is we're women. We're sisters. We all feel the same thing. And what we found out is that, just like Maya Angelou says, if you just sit down and talk to somebody, you're going to find out you're more alike than unlike. And we're afraid of things we don't know. We're afraid of languages. We're afraid of, if one person is a Christian and one person is a Buddhist versus an atheist versus a Tao or Hindu, it's like, oh, I can't talk to them. Yes, you can. It doesn't matter what they believe in. It has nothing to do with you.
Mm-hmm.
Why can't you talk to them? It's none of your business. Or if they're a same-sex relationship, or they're transgender, who the hell cares? That has nothing to do with you. Sit down and talk to the person, and you're going to find out, guess what? They, just like you, they want to be loved. They, just like you, they want to connect. They want to feel significant. They want to feel safe. They want to contribute. And you're more alike than unalike. And if you choose to see the positive and see where you guys can come together and enhance each other, you'll grow. But if you choose to focus on the negatives, it doesn't matter anyway. You don't have a say-so in somebody else's life. So why would you freaking argue about it? I don't give a damn who you support. I don't care who you worship. I really don't.
Mm-hmm.
That's not going to affect our conversation at all. That's between you and whatever.
Yeah.
I want to get to know you.
I love that. And I feel like if everybody were to adopt that style of thinking, the world would be so much of a better place,
Yeah.
So listen, we only have a few minutes left. This hour really did fly by, and it was amazing. Thank you again for spending this hour with us. But for this last few minutes, if there's something that you need to say to somebody right now, or you're just feeling so inclined, or you want whatever somebody needs to take away that you want them to take away from this episode, what are some of the things that you want somebody to take away from this, from everything that you spoke about?
Okay. Thank you. I would say this. If you're a woman, stand in front of the mirror. I want you to be able to get to the point of being able to say this and believing it. And it's going to be a journey. Beautiful girl, you're already enough. And when you can get to that level, and that's one of the lessons, that's one of my signature things that I do with women, that is key. You don't have to do nothing else. You don't have to lose no more weight. You don't need to do this. You don't need, beautiful girl, you alone are enough. You're already enough. To my men, each one of my men's classes, I address them. I say, good morning, king. I call all my men king, because there's a king inside of you. And I don't care what you did to get in my class. I don't care who you killed. I don't care what, you're my assignment. Your heart matters to me too, because if I can help you get healed, you're going to be a better father, a better husband, a better partner to everybody else. And you matter too. So, it doesn't matter how people come before you. What matters is, once they're in your pathway, how are you going to enhance their life? What can you give to show them something to enhance their life? And so here's the thing, whatever your story is, and so many people are so afraid to tell their story. And I want to tell you this, your story, that one that you don't want nobody to know, that one that's going to cost you your relationships, that's going to cost you your job, could land you in jail, the one that's going to cost you embarrassment, the one you hope nobody ever finds out, That's the story that needs to be told, because that's the story that's going to save lives. And that's why you're here, because you are living your story and you're about to be on the other side. So just enjoy the ride, trust the journey, and trust your own process, because I promise you it's going to be worth it.
Wow. And there it is. You heard it first from Rhonda Thompson. Rhonda, thank you so much for sharing this hour with us. That conclusion was super, super powerful. And I don't know if you saw, I was like staring at the screen because I felt like you were telling me as well. And that's why, like, you really need to operate in your vibrational frequency. And if something is embarrassing, it's really not. There's other people out there that have the same experiences and the same stories that you do. But if you come to speak about it first and you give them the courage to speak about their experiences, and within that vulnerability, that's where we can all grow together and start to heal, to take the path in order to live and get everything we want from this life. So Rhonda, thank you so much for everything. That was absolutely
my pleasure. And I just want to say this too. This is May still, guys. This is Mental Health Awareness Month. And the theme this year is You're Not Alone. That's the theme for Mental Health Awareness Month for 2021. And that's the thing. You're not alone. So trust your story, walk in it, because somebody else needs to hear it.
I love that. And Rhonda, so what happens if somebody were to email you at this email? What should they be expecting?
Well, I mean, I will contact you back. And my website is, totalbreakthroughcenter.com. And you can email me at admin@totalbreakthroughcenter.com for anything, whether it's for counseling, coaching, speaking engagements, motivation, whatever you need. I'm available for booking for keynote. I'm available for individual counseling, group counseling, corporate counseling, virtual. I don't care where you are on the face of this earth, because Fiona, I have a connection in London where I'm a partner with Young Mun Support Network, and we mentor girls in London. So wherever you are at, if you need somebody to talk to, I'm here for you. Just contact me, and we'll get something going for you and get it started.
Awesome. So thank you so much, Rhonda, for this hour. This was absolutely amazing. I hope everybody that was watching this got something from this episode. And please always remember to like, share, and subscribe for more great content. When you share it out, you don't know who you may be helping. And please, for one last spur of the moment, one last energy transfer, please spam those hearts and those likes for Rhonda, because she came over here with great energy and great intention, and we did something great today. So I just want to thank you so much, Rhonda, for sharing everything. And come back next year, guys, for the next episode. We have a great guest. What's that popping up? We have a great guest coming next week. And I just want you guys to come through and share this moment with us and be part of a community of people that are really going to change this world. So everybody, thank you so much for spending the time today. And I appreciate it. Thank you so much, everybody. We'll see you next week.
Thank you.